Before you take your next bite, pause for just a second, because what you're about to hear might completely change the way you think about food and aging. If you have a parent, grandparent, or someone you love who wants to stay sharp, strong, and independent for as long as possible, backhand index pointing right like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with them right now. For years, we've been told that avoiding meat is the key to longevity, that cutting it out completely is the healthiest path. But what if that's only part of the story? What if the real data, the long-term studies on people who live to 95, 100, even beyond, reveal something far more nuanced? Today, we're asking a bold question that few are willing to explore openly. Are seniors who include meat in the right way actually more likely to live to 100? The answer isn't extreme. It isn't trendy. And it might surprise you. Living a long life isn't about chasing one superfood. If it were that simple, we'd all know the answer by now. But when researchers study people who reach 95, 100, even 105 years old, one topic keeps showing up again and again: what they eat. So today, we're not going to rely on headlines, trends, or opinions. We're going to look at the real questions. What do centenarians actually put on their plates? Consistently. Why does protein become more important as we age? Can moderate meat intake support muscle strength, brain clarity, and immune resilience? Is all meat the same? Or is there a critical difference between processed products and whole, minimally processed sources? And what do the largest long-term longevity studies really show? Beyond social media debates. This isn't about defending one diet or attacking another. It's about stepping back from extremes and understanding the science with clarity, context, and common sense. Because when it comes to reaching 100, the truth is usually more balanced and more interesting than the headlines suggest. Section 1: What do centenarians eat? When researchers went looking for the longest living people on Earth, they didn't start in laboratories. They started in small villages, in what are now known as the blue zones, regions with unusually high numbers of people living past 95 and even 100. Scientists studied not just genetics but daily habits. The concept was popularized by Dan Buettner, who identified remarkable longevity patterns in places like Okinawa, Sardinia, Korea. Now here's where it gets interesting. The diets in these regions are not identical. They don't follow the same rules. They aren't extreme. But when you look closely at what centenarians actually eat year after year, a consistent pattern emerges. They don't eliminate animal protein entirely. And they don't consume it in excess either. Instead, they tend to include moderate amounts of animal foods, often fish, small portions of meat, or dairy, alongside plenty of vegetables, legumes, whole grains, and olive oil. Not zero. Not overload. But balance. And that nuance is often missing from modern diet debates. Section 2: Protein and aging muscle. After the age of 60, something subtle but powerful begins to happen. Your muscles don't just age. They slowly shrink. This process is called sarcopenia, and it's one of the biggest hidden reasons seniors lose independence. Not because of illness, but because of weakness. Here's why that matters. Muscle isn't just about looking strong. It protects your balance. It supports your joints. It stabilizes your posture. And it dramatically reduces the risk of falls, one of the leading threats to long-term mobility in older adults. According to the National Institute on Aging, adequate protein intake becomes increasingly important as we age because it helps maintain lean muscle mass, a physical strength, a stability and balance, a reduced risk of falls and injury. And here's where protein quality enters the conversation. Animal proteins, such as fish, eggs, dairy, and lean meats, naturally contain all 9 essential amino acids in forms that are highly bioavailable, meaning your body can absorb and use them efficiently. That said, plant proteins can absolutely support healthy aging as well. especially when thoughtfully combined to provide complete amino acid profiles. This isn't a battle between meat and plants. It's about one clear principle. After 60, protein is no longer optional. It's foundational. Section 3: Meat and Longevity Studies. Now here's where the conversation gets more interesting, and far less black and white than social media headlines suggest. When scientists analyze large, long-term population studies, the results are nuanced. Not extreme. Not sensational. Nuanced. What the data consistently shows is this. Processed meats are associated with higher health risks when consumed regularly. Moderate amounts of unprocessed meat, within a balanced dietary pattern, are often neutral, especially when paired with vegetables, fiber, and healthy fats. That distinction matters more than most people realize. Researchers at the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health emphasize that overall dietary patterns, not single foods, are what most strongly influence long-term health outcomes. In other words, it's not just what you eat. It's what you eat consistently, over decades. The World Health Organization also draws a clear line between categories of meat. There's a significant difference between processed meats, sausages, bacon, hot dogs, heavily cured or preserved products, fresh, minimally processed options, fish, poultry, and moderate portions of lean red meat. One category is linked to higher risk when consumed frequently. The other, when eaten in moderation as part of a balanced lifestyle, does not carry the same level of concern. So the real question isn't meat or no meat. It's what type, how much, and within what overall lifestyle. Because longevity isn't built on extremes. It's built on patterns. Section 4: The Brain Connection. Now let's talk about the brain, because living to 100 isn't just about years. It's about clarity. Protein doesn't just build muscle. It builds chemistry. Your brain relies on amino acids, the building blocks of protein, to produce neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, which regulate mood, focus, and memory. Without enough protein, those systems don't run efficiently. And then there's vitamin B12, a nutrient found naturally in animal-based foods such as fish, eggs, dairy, and meat. B12 plays a critical role in nerve function and brain health. In fact, long-term B12 deficiency has been associated with cognitive decline and memory impairment. The Alzheimer's Association consistently emphasizes the importance of adequate nutrition for maintaining brain function as we age. But here's where nuance becomes essential. While certain nutrients found in animal food support brain health, consistently high intake of saturated fat may increase cardiovascular risk, and heart health is directly connected to brain health. Healthy blood vessels mean healthy blood flow to the brain. So once again, we come back to the principle that keeps showing up. Not extremes. Not elimination. Not overload. Balance. Because when it comes to longevity, it's rarely about removing entire food groups. It's about aligning nutrition with long-term health, intelligently and consistently. Section 5: The Real Secret. IT was never just about meat. Here's the part most headlines leave out. Centenarians don't live long because of one food. And they certainly don't live long because of one argument about meat. When researchers study people who reach 95, 100, even beyond, what they find isn't a magic ingredient. They find a pattern. Yes, many include modest amounts of animal protein. But they also move naturally every day, walking, gardening, staying active, and maintain strong family and community ties, sleep consistently, eat mostly whole, minimally processed foods, stop eating before they're completely full. Longevity is never one variable. It's layered. It's behavioral. It's cumulative. Diet matters, but it operates inside a much larger lifestyle framework. Section 6: Do meat-eating seniors live longer? Now we can answer the real question. Not the viral headline. Not the extreme version. The honest answer. It's not about meat versus no meat. It's about adequate protein from quality sources, consumed within a balanced, physically active lifestyle. Moderate intake of fresh, minimally processed animal protein does not automatically shorten lifespan. And complete elimination is not a requirement for longevity either. When you zoom out and examine the data, the pattern becomes clear. Excess, especially highly processed products, is harmful. A moderation, within a nutrient-dense diet, is generally neutral to beneficial. Overall lifestyle habits determine long-term outcomes far more than one single food. The real takeaway? Longevity is built from patterns, not positions. Living to 100 isn't about extremes. It isn't about fear. And it certainly isn't about chasing trends. It's about consistency. It's about nourishment, not restriction. Strength, not obsession. Balance, not elimination. If this video helped you see the conversation differently, with more nuance and less noise, please take 1 second to like it, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who cares about healthy aging. And I'd genuinely love to hear from you. Do you include meat in your diet, or avoid it? And has your perspective changed after looking at the science more closely? Let's move past extremes. Let's think clearly. And let's grow older, informed, balanced, and together.